We're live at
Hey!
5. You better scoot over here by me, bud. Finally. I'll drink to that.
Come on. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. That's our topic today from two old farts with an old school perspective. What's going on, dude?
Turn that just a hair. About that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a remote.
Hey, man, we're uptown, Charlie Brown.
So they can see my beautiful face too.
I just want you close to me, man.
It's a little warm.
A little warm for much closeness. How do you like our t-shirts? So I've got our cabin in the woods. Hats off to you guys. And
KZEW.
the zoo.
I grew up in Dallas, and that was one of the prime radio stations of the time.
Wow.
So yeah, this is nostalgia. Right
I
here.
used to listen to KLIF and
Cliff.
Geronimo. Remember him?
No, that was KLF was actually AM.
And they also had Bill Mack on the Country
Oh, yeah.
Drive Home Show. I listen to
Midnight
him
Cowboy.
every day. Bill Mack. Golly,
Bill Midnight
nostalgia.
Cowboy.
I love it. We got a lot of stuff going on, Randy.
Oh, we do.
We've Randy's been building shutters.
Oh my gosh, y'all.
Oh my God.
This week has been just a nightmare. We had a customer that's in Houston, and she
Thank God.
wanted, she wanted 10 sets of shutters, and
10
they're not just any old shutters.
They're
I'll show you a
fancy,
picture
fancy
of them.
pants. They've got designs of little wood. I can't do angles
Let's
very
see if you
good.
can see that.
Yeah, there you go, right there.
Those are intricate. I mean, detailed shutters.
Yeah,
20 of those.
20.
And I've been working on them for about a week and a half. Finally getting down to the final
Resting place.
resting spot.
That's just neater than Skeeter's tweeter.
And so we were supposed to meet her today. She was coming up from Houston to pick them up. And Julia and I are frantically working yesterday trying to get them done. We're almost
Man.
done.
Well, y'all do good work, so
But,
they're gonna enjoy it.
But she called yesterday and said, I'm too tired. I got too much going on. Can we make it next Saturday? So I just was like, oh, thank you, God.
That was a welcome surprise. Speaking of welcome
was.
surprises, look who's in our chat. Our favorite
Brandy
snowflake,
Rad.
Brandy Rad. Hi, Brandy.
Hi,
How's it
Brandy.
going? I'm glad you make it. You know, I really tip my hat to you, young lady, coming in here and listening to all
You
these
are-
conservative views.
You are dedicated.
You are dedicated. Plus, you must love your mom. That's why you do it.
And me.
How
She
is
knows me.
Destiny and Dylan and Tim? I hope everybody's doing good. We love you guys. We think about you a lot. We were just talking about you yesterday. How's that new house? Let us know how your new house is going.
Yeah, I enjoy your pictures of the fire pit and everything. And
Oh, yeah.
y'all got it going on up there.
That's
They're up in
cool.
Chicago, the suburb of Chicago.
Aurora.
Chicago.
Aurora, Illinois. Man, oh man. Did y'all hear about this Anna Paula Luna that
Oh,
came on, the
man.
attorney? This is cool stuff. Now,
This
this could
is-
change 60 years of history
This is
and ruin a media
Mind
Ruin
blowing.
them. if it's true.
Yeah.
That's the key. It's always the key if
Yeah.
it's true.
Well, and sadly, with the state of the media nowadays, you don't know what's true and what's not because we've been lied to for so long.
Oh,
about
I
So
know.
many things.
All snowflakes are well and accounted for, she said. Okay, here's the deal. April 1st, it's not Fool's Day. April 1st. I heard this on Veteran Biker. Veteran Biker has a show that I listen to all the time because he's just fun to listen to. And he really doesn't care about your opinion. He's an expert in his own, he says. But he's respectful. He's not rude, but he tells you like it is. And he came on with Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters was interviewing Anna if I say her name right, Anna Paulina Luna.
Yeah.
She's an attorney. And here's the thing. I'm still in shock over it.
I know.
NBC has a tape showing, and they've hidden it for 60 years. This could
60
change
years.
history. If this is true, they've hidden a tape for 60 years that shows Lee Harvey Oswald standing next to the vehicle where Kennedy was shot.
Yeah.
In
Not up in the
1963.
school book depository.
No,
but
standing next
standing
to
on
the
street
vehicle.
Next to the vehicle.
If that's true, he's innocent. And that means the CIA has been driving this whole thing.
Yep.
Especially him.
Yep.
And
that means NBC,
that's earth-shaking news.
man, they could be shut down over this. If it's true and they've been holding on to this tape for 60 years, man, they could stand to lose everything.
Oh yeah.
All credibility.
And CNN will go down with them and everyone in their little chain of events.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. The 35th president, JFK, shot in Dallas, which I never took pride in that. I was always sad every time they said it happened in Dallas.
It was always a bruise on Dallas.
Yeah. November 22nd, 1963. And they're going to have a hearing to reveal this tape. I can't wait to hear the news. I can't wait to see what really and truly happens. What are you guys' thoughts on it? Hi, Tony, with Our Cabin in the Woods. Look here.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, good. He's outside working, and he's going to be listening. We got your shirt on, man.
Well, he does.
I do. He's got the zoo, KZEW. Oh, man. What do you guys think about that? What are your thoughts about JFK? And I know it's been 60 years. A lot of people weren't even around. I was just a little boy.
Yeah, I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember it specifically too, because I remember my mom was doing the ironing and I was sitting on the floor in the TV room, which was the family room. And I remember the news coming on, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't pay attention to the news. I'm sitting there playing with my cars and stuff, and she's ironing, and she all of a sudden just sits down on the couch and just breaks down crying. And it, of course, 5 years old, it freaks me out. I'm like, "What's wrong, Mom? What's going on?" And she tried to explain it to me. And like I said, 5 years old, you don't.
Brandy's right. We think about the media because they've hidden the tape, and the media is one that hid the tape.
Yeah.
But the Justice Department's going to fall. FBI, DOJ, CIA. Those guys are all in trouble if this is true. She's absolutely right.
Well, and that's what Trump has been after all along, was to drain the swamp and clear up all the lies and the falsehoods of being spread throughout with the media. And it's about time, because the American people deserve to know the truth about things.
Absolutely.
Let them form their own opinions, but give them the truth.
Absolutely. When you hide evidence like that, who are you covering up for? What are you trying to accomplish? What's your end result? What do you want in the end? That's what I always wonder. What's this all about? And I mean, Lee Harvey Oswald, he might have been a horrible guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know him. All I know is if he didn't do it, he didn't do it.
Right.
And that's just
he
wrong.
said at the very first, when they caught him in that movie theater, that he was a patsy.
That's true. He did.
If this turns out to be true, then
it ought to be a good trial. Oliver Stone's gonna be testifying in April 1st hearing,
because he did so much research when he did that movie.
Jeff Morley's gonna testify.
Yeah.
And there's 2 missing documents that they want to find. I don't know what those 2 documents are, but other than the video, there's 2 documents. So
Trump has opened up a can of worms when he released all the documents pertaining to the Kennedy assassination. He's also agreed to release all the documents, everything that's been discovered so far. Why is there water leaking out of the bottom of your?
Oh, that's a drain.
That's a drain. Okay.
Yeah.
According to or talking about UFOs, he's ordered for everything to be released on the Area 51 and all that stuff. So
yeah, I
there's
can't wait on
all
that. The
kinds of
UFO
stuff.
stuff's fascinating.
It is. It is. I don't know how much of it to take seriously.
But it's entertaining.
It is.
You know, it's
It is.
entertaining.
It's
Whether you
fun.
believe in it or not, it's still entertaining.
Lynn the Okie Dokie wants to know, is there a mower channel?
Yeah, there is a guy who has a more channel in Terrell. It's Terrell. That's okay. If you're in Texas, you can pronounce it Terrell, but you got to spell it with an E. I love it. Terrell, Texas. But yeah, there is a channel, and I cannot remember his name, but he's a good guy, and he'll talk to you about anything you want to talk to when it comes to motors. He's real good with motors. And he doesn't mind giving free advice either. If you're fixing your own mower, he's not going to make you go over there. I can't think of his name. When I think of it, if any of you guys know him, let us know. Did you hear about Glenn Beck having this on?
No, I did not.
Glenn Beck, according to Tony, Glenn Beck Wednesday night had a whole hour
about the Kennedy thing.
About the Kennedy thing.
Wow.
What did he come up with, Tony? What was his concussion? That's Texas for conclusion.
Blaze TV. Huh.
Man,
yeah, I suspect there's going to be all kinds of YouTube videos and news channels bringing this to light now. So how long are we going to have to wait to find out now about this?
Well, that's why you haven't heard about it in the mainstream media, because they haven't had the trial yet.
Right.
So they're not going to talk about it at all unless they just absolutely have to.
Yeah.
They're going to keep it under wraps. So I don't know. It'll be after April 1st. Isn't that funny? They're going to have one of the trials on April Fool's Day. I wonder if that was a coincidence. 14,000 federal employees got fired.
Wow.
14,000. Now, I'm not for anybody getting fired. Let's get that straight. Because I get scared when I think about losing my job with all we've got to pay for. So let's get that straight right up front. But I also don't like to pay for things like $900,000 for Gaza Terror, a charity in Gaza. I don't want to pay $900,000 for that. I don't want my money going for a Gaza terror charity, and I don't want a DEI in a Serbian country where they're spending $1.5 million. Doge is uncovering all this stuff slowly but surely,
right.
And I want to keep it that way.
Tony says that Glenn Beck used some kind of AI system that uploaded all the files into it, and they came up with five possibilities, but the number one was Lee Harvey Oswald. Well, that's probably because of all the information that's been put in over the years,
right?
About that's who they believed, did the assassination.
I asked Siri. You're absolutely right. I asked Siri, who killed JFK? She says Lee Harvey Oswald. Check it out.
Right, because that's what's in the history books. I mean, that's etched in stone, basically.
It's crazy.
It is. It really is.
Who would have thought in 1963 a president would be shot, and it would be as big a news as it is right now when it comes to conspiracy theories? Who would have thought that?
Who would have thought it? Who would have thunk it?
That's 60 years of, I wonder who did it.
I can't believe that there hasn't been some type of leak over that 60 years. And maybe there has, and maybe it wasn't taken seriously. Maybe it wasn't from a credible source.
The truth has been sealed up.
Yeah.
That's why we just now found out about this NBC video. And they still have to have a day in court to prove that the video even exists.
Yeah.
If they say the video doesn't exist, there's no video, then we're back to conspiracy theories.
Square one, yeah.
Yeah. But I just have to believe that the truth was hidden for over 60 years, or we would have known it and it would have been put to rest. They knew the truth about Trump. They're never going to prove that Democrats had anything to do with it.
Right.
But we all have our assumptions and feelings about that. I just don't don't go for it.
It's sad to me that this day and time, with as much technology as we have, you still don't know who you can and can't trust. You know, I mean, even the IRS is under the microscope with the Doge.
And how many are they going to fire?
Yeah.
They're next on the list, I believe.
Well, I mean, they hired, 80,000 agents?
Yeah. And they've
come
used those
after us?
agents. That's the funny thing, man. This is great. They use those agents, a lot of them, because they're all badge and gun carrying agents. They're using them to go after who? The criminal illegal aliens.
Right.
That's funny. All those IRS agents, instead of coming after you and me, they're going to be going after illegal aliens, like they should be.
Well, and it's just like the all the Tesla dealerships that are being bombarded now with the fires and the Molotov cocktails and all that stuff. I mean, who's doing that? The people that were pushing the electric cars on us in the first place.
Yeah.
That just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's funny to me. It's not funny. It's ironic to me how we can have people go, "Oh, we love electric vehicles. They're going to save
So
our
good for
environment.
the environment, yeah.
The world's going to disappear in 12 years. And if we don't start being careful with our resources." And then as soon as he says, "I like Trump," his world falls apart.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that's not domestic terrorism when they're
Exactly.
burning down vehicles.
That's exactly what it is.
Somebody's going to get killed. It's going to be sad, but these people are not thinking about it. When they go, they're just thinking about keying the vehicles or blowing up a charge station. Somebody's little kid's going to be in one of those cars, or somebody's wife or mother or father is going to be in one of those cars, and they're going to die all because of a difference of political opinion. And that is so stupid.
Yep.
It's beyond stupid.
Lynn the Okie Dokie says, "Do you think we're going to have cars like in the Jetsons?"
One day we will. I really believe it.
I think you're right. We will, but I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime. They're working on the technology now.
They have it. They
with
have the
yeah,
technology.
but I mean, it's got to go through so much testing. Just
Plus,
like
we got to teach people how to drive on the ground. Jeez, they can't drive on the ground, much less in the air.
Can you imagine? Oh Lord,
Gosh.
boy! I tell you what, the job to have would be an air traffic controller. Then
Oh yeah, woo! Forget it.
you couldn't leave your house without having a flight plan.
Did you see that? All the air traffic controllers would be smoking weed. Well, I just don't know about this. I'm gonna have to be careful out there.
Yeah.
I can see it now. Okay, you can take off now. Go to work.
Go to 30,000 feet.
That's right.
I'm already there.
Come up here with me, and I'll get you to work. That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Rhonda's fixing homemade chicken.
I saw that.
Homemade fried
Man.
chicken.
Hey, nothing better than homemade fried chicken.
No joke. Do you think we're... Oh, okay. You already read that. They're supposed to reveal how Elvis really died on his 50th anniversary. He's not dead. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Elvis is not dead. He comes over to my house sometimes and visits.
Okay, if they're going to reveal how he really died, why would you put out there that he died of heart failure while on the toilet?
Yeah, that's the Valsalva maneuver. And I picked up a lot of people over the years that have died holding the rails of the toilet because they bared down.
Clench it down, yeah.
And when they bared down to relieve themselves, their blood pressure dropped and it wouldn't recover. And they died. And they died in an embarrassing way.
I can't think of a worse way to go.
Well, I can think of worse.
Well,
I have a fear of being burned to death.
Oh God, me too.
Alive, burned alive.
Me too.
With my luck, I'll be in a Tesla car.
That and I have a fear of enclosed places. I'm not claustrophobic. I mean, I can be in a tight space, but I guess it stems back from when I was in pest control and I was having to crawl under houses a lot. You know, if there's a crawl space that's big and doable where you can get on hands and elbows and knees and crawl through it. I didn't have a problem with that. It's when you're on that we call it a belly crawl. You'd have to get on your belly and just scoot your way in there. Couldn't do it. I mean, I'd get about a quarter of the way in and have to turn right around and come right back out.
It is hard to do that. I give you credit for doing it at all.
But yeah, that and the fear of being buried alive, because I was watching a show the other day. It was Kill Bill. When they, I think it was Kill Bill Volume 2, when they buried her, thought she was dead, and no, they knew she was alive, but they buried her in that coffin, and she finally mastered that move, that punch to bust the wood. And she got out of there. The whole time she was in there, man, I was having to sit there like this and just I couldn't watch it, man. It freaks me out.
I watched a TikTok video that showed you how to get out of a being buried alive.
Really?
Yeah. It said
watch that.
It said keep hitting the wood, and when the dirt starts coming in, push it down to the bottom where the space is around your feet.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing the dirt down and bring the dirt in after you break the wood or open the door, whatever it is that's over you. Push it down, push it down, push it down, and then pull yourself up with the dirt. Use the dirt to pull yourself up to get air and to go up higher. And every time they said in this video that where people make their mistake is when the dirt comes in, they just let it fall on them, and then it's too heavy to move. So if you push the dirt down in the spaces, then you can use it to climb out almost like a ladder.
Wow. And
it compacts down. I don't want to try it.
It's funny you say that, because I watched a video the other day of it was an AI video, but it's this animal that falls down into a hole, and people are trying to throw rocks and stuff in there to bury it. Well, about the first 5 minutes, he keeps getting hit on the head with these rocks and then the body and everything. But eventually he starts noticing that these rocks are landing in one pile. So he starts climbing up on top of that pile. And as the rocks keep coming
Same principle.
The pile gets bigger and bigger. Finally,
Same
he
principle.
gets out and eats all the people.
When I was in Muskogee County, I was on the Confined Space Rescue, and they had a pipe. The pipe was about this big around, and it was 100 feet long. And what we had to do, they put a dummy in there, a Rescue Randy. It weighs 150 pounds, and all its limbs move and everything. It's Rescue Randy, because Randy's afraid of confined spaces. And they put him down there with a rope. And our job was to take this flimsy backboard. It was like plastic. And we were supposed to go down in the hole. And I tell you what, that's a little unnerving, because you're going down in the pipe, and you don't have any room to move. And you only have a little plastic board. And so you're pushing yourself down, down, down the pipe. And all you see is light at the end of the tunnel.
That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
And you are so happy that there is light down there. Imagine doing it in the dark. So you're pushing yourself down this pipe. And then when you get to Randy, you're supposed to take the backboard and roll it around the pipe, around his back. So you might be on top of him, you might be under him, but you roll it under his back, and then you grab him and you hold him next to you, and you tug on your rope, and they slowly pull you out when he's secured in your arms.
Wow.
And that's how they train Confined Space Rescue. And oh man, you have to talk yourself down. The same thing when I went scuba diving.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When I got certified scuba diving, that was one of my certifications, was deep dive.
Yeah, 100 feet.
Yeah, 100 feet. And you get down there to the point, if none of y'all or some of y'all have never been scuba diving, when you do a deep dive certification, you get down to the point to where you lose light. There's no light down there. It's just darkness. And the only way that you can tell whether you're up or down, what direction.
Bubbles.
Yeah, is you have to have a light of some sort, a flashlight. Turn that flashlight and see where your bubbles travel. That's up, obviously. But man, that's unnerving, because when you get down there and you don't have a light on, you cannot see your hand in front of your face. And
No,
it's
you
just
can't.
I was surprised I got that certification because the second they told me to go up that I passed, man, I almost got the bends going up so fast.
Well, if you've ever watched a movie, The Abyss, when you go down, like I was a rescue diver, not rescue, that's not true. I was a recovery diver in the Arctic Circle. When you go down to a certain depth, I think the light starts disappearing, colors start disappearing at about 40 feet, 30 feet. And then you keep going down and it gets darker and darker and darker, and your light just looks like a beam.
Right.
And we had to recover dead bodies.
Oh my gosh.
So we were under the ice, and the ice was all jagged above us. And the hole might be right there, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
Because the ice is so jagged underneath. It's not a flat bottom.
Right.
And so that's why people drown. They fall in. They can't find their way out.
Yeah.
You might find them real close to the entrance, but they couldn't find the hole to get out.
Exactly.
So when you go down and you've got this light and it beams, and then all of a sudden you see something waving by you, it gives you a pucker factor of about a 40 on a 1 to 10 scale. And we had these full masks that had a microphone in them, and we could talk to the tender on the surface. And he started laughing because sometimes I'd go, because I'd see something that scared me, and he'd go, "You okay, buddy?" "Yeah, I'm okay. Just give me a minute. I'll clean this out when I get up to the surface." But yes, Lynn, I did. I used to live in Oklahoma. I worked at McCurtain County EMS. I worked at Muskogee and the Cherokee Nation. I worked all over Oklahoma when I was a medic.
Y'all, if it can be done, Tom has done it.
Well, I tell you what, Rhonda went to see me just on a practice dive one time. We took about 3 hours to dig the hole out in the Arctic because the ice is 5 foot deep. They drive trucks across it. And she watched me go down, and the water was green on top. And I just disappeared in the water. And when I came up, she had tears in her eyes, and she said, "You can't do that anymore. You have to stop doing it." I said, "Well, honey, we're giving families closure."
Right.
And she said, "I don't want to be one of those families. I want you to come home, and I don't want you to do that anymore."
Yeah.
So I never did that after that.
You know, it's funny because after I got my certification, this was, 15 years ago, maybe. But after I got my certification, I dove maybe 3 times after that. But since then, I have not scuba dived, and I don't know. I wish I could, because I would love to do it again.
It is fun to do, but it can also be dangerous.
Yeah, it can be.
We did police dive training, and you had to do nitronox and helium and all the different gases. And you don't go down as deep, but you stay down longer with that. And I got the biggest kick offshore watching the guys that were fixing the pipes and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they had to go down real deep with helium. And we had a little doghouse, and we could listen to them. And then they would look in the Gulf. They would see these giant fish or a hammerhead, and they'd go, "Look at the size of that thing." And it was just hilarious listening to them because they had that helium voice, and they were going, "Man, look at the size of it." One of the guys got a jellyfish because they have this hose that goes down and keeps them warm.
Yeah.
And it circulates warm water because they're like 235 feet down.
Oh my gosh.
And all of a sudden he starts screaming, "Ah, ah, ah," and he goes, "Bring me up, bring me up." It takes a long time to get him up because they have to decompress, but they brought him up real fast and put him in a decompression chamber on the rig. But he had a jellyfish that got in the hose and went down in his wetsuit.
Lord,
man, I felt so bad for him. Because those things hurt when you just get stung once by them.
Lord.
Look, they're talking about having a baby on the toilet.
Yeah. Lynn says on a show called "I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant." It's funny you say that because when I was working for this company, well, Coca-Cola, y'all all know that. I was there for 34 years. I had a friend that his wife was pregnant, and she didn't know it. She didn't know it until she went into labor.
Oh, wow.
That freaks me out. I can't
imagine not knowing.
Yeah. I mean,
your body's changing. It's got to be changing.
Yeah. Plus you're not having your monthlies anymore. I mean, come on, there's all kinds of signs.
We're not women, so we can't
Well,
understand
true.
it.
I can't speak to that.
But
I can just give my opinion on it, which opinions are,
like assholes, everybody's got one. We can say that on the old fart show.
That's right.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
That's
Hey, you
funny.
know what? I went shopping today for some cherries and a microphone stand.
Yeah, really?
Got a bing, got a boom.
Got a bing, got a boom. Okay, you got me. That's good.
Oh man.
What do you guys want to talk about? We've been talking away.
Yeah, we'll shut up now and let y'all talk.
It's 469-505-9550 if you want to give us a call on the hotline and visit with us. Tell us what you think about JFK and Oswald. Tell us what you think about having babies on the toilet. My mother always called me a turd when I was growing up, so I might have been one of those babies. You never know.
Would y'all like to hear today's top 10 list?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Okay. Today's top 10 list is brought to you by Bud Light Chilada.
Chilada.
Okay, so today's top 10 list is the top 10 things to do in the United States. I know there's many, 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 many more, and I don't agree with everything on this list, but this is what Google says is the top 10 things to do in the United States. So we'll go from bottom to top. Number 10 is Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, home to many historical landmarks and museums. Don't care.
Don't care. It's the home on the range.
Number 9 is San Francisco, a city with unique culture, known for its iconic landmarks and cable cars. I would like to see San Francisco just simply for the
Golden Gate Bridge.
The Golden Gate Bridge, and that's on here too, I think.
Just to say you've
for
seen
the landscape.
Yeah.
I mean, just because it's so hilly and right there on the sea. Okay, so number 8 is Las Vegas. I do agree with that. The entertainment capital of the world, known for its casinos, shows, and nightlife.
That's where we got married, Rhonda and I. We went and saw the Blue Man Group. You would have freaked out because they covered everybody in paper, and you felt like you were enclosed with it. Rhonda was
now that
doing
I can
this.
handle.
She was like trying to free up the paper so she could breathe. I felt bad for her.
I can handle that. It's hard spaces enclosed in that I can't handle.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 7 is, and I don't agree with this at all, New York City. A vibrant metropolis with world-class museums, Broadway shows, and iconic landmarks. I do believe that, but I have no desire to see it. I have no desire. When I was a kid, I wanted to go to New York City and see it. But now,
New York
as I'm
City?
older, get a rope.
Get a rope. Lynn, we would like you to see Terrell, Texas, too. Come on down.
Okay, so number 6, I do agree with this one. Universal Studios, Hollywood. A popular theme park in Los Angeles offering thrilling rides and attractions. Although, same thing with New York, or same thing with Los Angeles as New York. I did want to see at one time Los Angeles, Hollywood, and all that. But now, from what I have heard and read and seen, it's gotten so trashy. It's just not the place it used to be.
Well, I tell you what, I hate what they've done, and this is Disney. I hate what they've done to all the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Come on, an old school perspective right here. Leave our cartoons alone. Those are for kids. They're not for you to mess with. They don't care. Little kids don't care about homosexual or straight or bi or lesbian. Little kids do not care.
Right.
So leave our kids alone.
Stop trying to mold them.
Leave
into
our
what
kids
you want.
alone. That sounds like Pink
Pink
Floyd.
Floyd, that's right.
Leave this. I can't stand it. It drives. That's one thing that drives me nuts when they start messing with the baby.
No, I don't agree with that at all. Leave those kids alone. They can't even form an opinion yet, much less know what they want to be sexually.
Exactly.
Okay, so number 4. I think I missed one here.
Well, my pornography when I was a little boy was the Sears catalog underwear
That's
section.
right.
It was. I'm
Does everybody
telling you.
remember the man on 602?
602.
602.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so number 4 of the top 10 things to do in the United States is the National Mall. A sprawling green space in Washington, D.C., home to many monuments and museums. You know, for a long time, I thought the National Mall was a mall, but that's the Mall of America.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, the National Mall is
Underground?
the many monuments and museums in Washington, D.C. Did not know that. Number 3 is the Golden Gate Bridge. Like I said, it's on here. Yeah, a stunning suspension bridge in San Francisco, offering iconic views.
A lot of people died building
Oh yeah, well, a lot of people still die jumping off of it too.
it. Yeah, but that's by choice. Can you imagine being up there? I'm doing the 9 to 5.
Well, can you imagine how many people? Number 1 died building the Golden Gate Bridge, and number 2, how many people are buried in the Hoover Dam?
Oh yeah, that was another one.
Yeah,
Whoa. If anybody knows how many
that'd be
people,
an interesting fact to find out.
yeah, send us the number of how many people are buried in the Hoover Dam. That's how it got its name. People went, damn, he fell. We'll never see him again. Where are we?
Oh,
Hoover.
damn.
Damn.
Number 2 on the list is Times Square, a bustling hub of activity in New York City known for its bright lights and entertainment.
And what is it?
Times Square.
Times Square.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go see. I used to want to go see the ball with all the crystals rise up at New Year's.
Yeah.
I don't care anything about that anymore.
No, I don't either.
Old school perspective. I want to set my fat hiney on the sofa in my drawers.
This old
and
fart
drink
is
iced
going to
tea
be
and
at
watch it.
home watching that clock tick. 12
Yeah,
o'clock.
I'll
If
probably
I make
be-
it that far.
I'll be 11:30.
Shoot, what are you talking about? 10:30.
Okay, 10:30. Probably so. I get sleepy quick.
All right. So the number 1 thing, and this is you're not gonna believe this. The number 1 thing to do in the United States is go
Is?
see the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Give me your tired, your poor, as long as they're legal.
A symbol of freedom and democracy, located in New York City.
New York City. New York is the hub. It really is. That's where a lot of people
Yeah,
came over. Immigrants came over, but they came over legally, and that's what we.
But I
need to
mean,
do.
there's things on there not on the list that I would like to have been on there. Number 1, the Grand Canyon.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
that's a what do they call that? One of the 7 wonders of the world.
yeah.
That should have been on there. Yellowstone National Park. That's another thing that should have been on there.
Lynn wants to see the Greenwood Museum. She's going to see it someday,
Where is the Greenwood Museum?
and the Sequoia State Park.
Oh man, I would love to see the Sequoia redwoods.
I would too. Those
Yeah.
trees are
Yeah,
magnificent.
they've got one tunneled out where a car can drive through it. That would be awesome.
That would be.
I'm a tree nut. I love trees. I love the shade they provide. I just love
They're
trees.
comforting. They're comforting.
They really are. They're I just love a place with trees on it.
That's what I
Yeah.
like riding the Harley. I love riding
Yeah.
the Harley out in the country. I don't care too much for city riding, but when Rhonda and I get on the Harley and we go on a trip out in the country and the breeze and the smell and you see all the beauty. Oh,
And see,
man.
that's the one thing that I did like about when I was a truck driver, seeing all the beautiful parts of this country. was just the open spaces going through Kansas.
Oh, I bet.
Kansas is so flat.
Yeah.
Of course, the
You can
wind's
see
blowing
forever.
all the time, but you could see forever. You could see thunderstorms. And I didn't mind driving through thunderstorms because you knew you prepared yourself because you could see them 100 miles away, you know, and you knew you were coming up on this thunderstorm. So you would gear up and get ready for it and get the right mindset.
Rhonda and I were we were going from Bellingham, Washington. She was in the blue truck, I was in the red. And we were coming from Bellingham, Washington. We had to go through Kansas. And I went to this toll booth and I noticed there wasn't anybody around. It was real windy. And the lady said, "Did you hear the sirens?" And I said, "Sirens? No, I didn't hear any sirens." She said, "You guys need to take cover. There's a tornado siren that's already blown. They're sending warnings out. You should have heard it at least on the radio." I said, "No, I haven't. But my wife is behind me. Do not tell her that we have a tornado. Tell her that your husband said to follow real close. He's going to be stopping soon." So we got to the motel and it was windy and stuff was flying everywhere. And then I told her and she got mad. She said, "Why didn't you tell me?" I said, "What would you have done? You would have just panicked."
Yep.
And I didn't want you to panic. I wanted you to just get to the hotel with me. But we went through snow from Bellingham, Washington down to Galveston. We went through snow, not hurricanes. That's not true. Tornadoes and hailstorm. We went through a hailstorm that was so bad. And this is over a week. So bad it looked like snow on the ground.
I remember going through Kansas one night. There's a place in Kansas right off of I-70.
Yeah.
Oakley, Kansas.
Okay.
There's a big Pilot truck stop there. That's where we would always stop and fuel up. Well, this was in the spring and when all the grasshoppers were coming out.
Oh, man.
You know, and I mean, my windshield in this truck was covered so bad in grasshoppers that I had no choice but to stop and just clean the windshield up. I mean, I was having to drive like this, looking through a little bitty hole. It was horrible. The windshield washer, you know,
man,
didn't do any good, just made it worse, I think. But yeah, there's things like that. But yeah, driving a truck through that area and going into Colorado and then into Wyoming and Montana. I mean, there is some gorgeous country.
Utah's got some pretty mountains.
I've got it imprinted in my mind, and I've taken several pictures. But yeah, that was probably a highlight of my life, is getting to see that part of the country. And I swore, I may have told y'all this before, but we made a stop in South Dakota, and it was the same exit that you take. If you take this exit and you turn right, it will take you to Mount Rushmore.
You were up by Sturgis.
Yeah. Go through Sturgis. Spearfish, I think was the name of the town. But you had to take a left. We had to take a left to get to our destination. I mean, I'm 20 minutes away from Mount Rushmore and never got to see it. That's on my bucket list is Mount Rushmore. That and Devil's Tower.
Well, we need to just go to Sturgis. We'll take the Harley. We'll go to Sturgis and then we'll stop off. There is a suicide road that they ride up there too.
What's it called? The Dragon's Tail or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. We need to go on that on the bike. That'd be fun.
So yeah, y'all let us know if you've ever been up in that part of the country, because it's absolutely gorgeous. And as a matter of fact, I threatened Julie with when I retired, we're moving to Cody, Wyoming, because that was
so
my
favorite. It's windy.
Favorite destination.
It's really windy.
Well, Cody, Wyoming is nestled
in a valley.
In a valley in between the mountains. So it really wasn't that bad. But from probably October to April, I mean, there's snow 4 to 6 feet on the ground. But the good thing about that part of the country is they're prepared for it. They keep their roads clear. I remember driving through Kansas one night or one morning. We had a quick turnaround. We were going to Colorado for 2 stops, had to turn around and come right back. Well, that morning we went through Kansas, and it was snow piled up on the highways, and the roads were starting to get iffy. But once we got into Colorado, they had already cleared them. did our stops, turned around, and came back. By the time we came back through Kansas on I-70, they had already cleared the roads. It was just like nothing had happened. You could tell because on the snowbanks on the side of the roads, the snow was piled up. But man, the roads were just clear as a bell.
Wow. I
admire them.
I went to college in 1979 in Coffeyville, Kansas, and there's a gang that came out of Coffeyville.
Went through Coffeyville, yeah.
The Dalton Gang. And they're
Yeah,
very,
that's
very
right.
popular. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody knows about
Well
the
known.
Dalton Gang.
Yep.
And I worked at KGGF, the voice of the Magic Circle in Coffeyville, Kansas. That was in 1979. Wow. Memories. Tell you what.
Lynn says Greenwood Museum is in Tulsa. It's about the history of the Greenwood District. Okay.
I lived in Stigler, which is an hour from Tulsa, and I never went there.
Hmm.
All I did was work. Back then I was an EMT paramedic, and I had 6 W-2 forms those years because you don't make any money as a paramedic. You got to
Right.
work a bunch of jobs. I taught 3 classes, and I had 1 full-time ambulance job and 2 part-time ambulance jobs. So I went from one job to the next. I never
Wow.
went home.
Wow.
It was a nightmare.
Was one of those jobs a sleep apnea test?
And it should have been. I told you about Sallisaw, Oklahoma, didn't
Yeah.
I? Where they
Yeah.
put me out in the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
fell
remember you
asleep
telling me that
and I was
story.
snoring, and the medics took my bed and carried, because I was snoring so loud, they carried it and put it in the front yard in the driveway. They had my end tables out there with my lamp and everything. I woke up to honk, 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 and people were driving to school. The sun was real bright. I said, "What's
Oh
going
my
on?"
gosh.
I was in the middle of the driveway. They had moved me outside in my underwear, in the bed. God, those guys.
Oh.
That was
Can you
better
imagine?
than being short sheeted, though.
Good thing it wasn't tornado season.
They wouldn't have cared. They just didn't want to hear me snore anymore. And I don't blame them.
There
I
goes
snored
Tom.
loud. I would have been like, instead of cow, it would have been medic.
There goes Tom.
Oh, man. Well,
Uh,
it's 6 o'clock.
It
bro.
is 6 o'clock. It's time to go.
Man, oh, man.
So
this has
thank
been
you all
fun.
for coming in. Thank you, Lynn, for all your comments.
Yeah,
and everything.
Lynn, you're awesome. Thank you.
We'll be back next week.
Brandy, if you're still here, we love you.
course
Thanks
we do.
for watching. I'm glad you were here. And
Yeah, we'll be back next week at 5 o'clock. God
well,
willing,
and the creek don't rise.
creek don't rise, and the internet don't buffer.
Oh my gosh.
So,
that buffer
okay,
kills
that just a heads up for y'all. If you get on here at 5 o'clock and it says, that we're not on yet,
Waiting.
just wait it out because we're trying to get on. For some reason, this internet out here, it when we try to go live, it buffers. Tom has to do it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, so you'll see 2
So
or 3
just
different
Just be patient.
intros.
Yeah, just
Be
be
patient.
patient on that. So we'll be there as soon as we can.
I'm gonna go eat my wife's fried chicken.
I'm
I
ready.
can't wait.
I am ready.
We love you guys.
Y'all have
Thanks
a
for
great
watching.
week.
And who do you think killed JFK?
Yeah.
We might
Who really
know.
Did kill JFK?
We might know. And parting words from 2 old farts. Stay off our lawn.
Get off my lawn. Y'all have a good week.
Have a good one, guys. We love you.
Oh, I got to pee.